I am Gayan Madhuranga Pereira. I'll be your maths teacher today. If you now look at the board carefully, you can have a brief idea about me. In future, I'll show you what I can do for you, and at the same time, you can feel what you can gain from me. Let's move on. Here we begin our first episode with real number systems. What is the simplest idea of a number? So people wanted to count something. Therefore, the counting numbers are the first set of numbers. Have you ever think about the early number systems? How early people were counting their cattle? Many thousand years back, how did people count their own cattle? So you may be wonder, they actually used a set of pebbles to check whether their cattle is fully come out. They actually used a set of pebbles to check whether their cattle is okay with them. When they send out, they map with the set of pebbles, and when they come in, they again check with their pebbles. After having counting numbers, people were thinking, what is the number if there is nothing in hand? A farmer don't have a cow, so what number can represent that? So then, if there is nothing, introduce 0. So then the number set were further developed, including 0, 1, 2, 3 and upwards. Number set is now redefined as natural numbers. The curly N is the symbol for that. When the number set including 0, now people used to represent them on a line, they call it is a number line. Actually, you can't find number line anywhere in the real world. That is only on books you can find the number line. Now people had positive numbers and as well as 0. So by the way, why can't we extend this number line to the left side? So now introduced negative numbers. How they extended the line to the left side. So at the same time, positive numbers go to the left side, they introduced negative numbers. So now number line doesn't have ends in both ways. In the left side, it goes to the negative numbers, no end. In the right side, it goes to the positive numbers, but there is no end. So every time we can draw number line only the middle part. So now including all negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers, a new number set was introduced. That is called integers. The symbol was curly Z. So now we use curly Z to represent the set of integers. But the problem is here we can't write any end, but we are still writing the middle part only. The set of integers now can be divided into further two subsets. If we take only the negative integers, so we can denote it as Z minus, and we can call it negative integers. And if we take only the positive integers, so we can denote it as Z plus, and we can call it positive integers. Now we found Z can be divided into subsets like Z minus and Z plus. Now again we see, if we join them together, can we make Z? But if you notice, 0 was not there in any of the two sets. So therefore, if you try to write as a union of subsets, so it should be Z minus union 0 as a set union Z plus. Then all the elements of Z are there. So after that, mathematicians were thinking about further development of the number system. What numbers can be represented in between these integers? For example, What are the numbers in between 0 and 1? Fractions, and fractions are lying in between whole numbers. Now they introduced a nice set called rational numbers. Rational numbers is a set which includes all numbers which can be written as fractions. So it has a very nice definition. We can read it: x such that x equals p over q. P and q are elements of z, but q does not equal to 0. Now we have whole numbers, 0, fractions. But when people were thinking further, they found there are decimal numbers which we cannot convert into fractions. So such numbers are now not rationals. Then what are they? So now they introduced another set called irrational numbers. Irrational number set includes all decimals which we cannot write as a fraction. Now the biggest set is going to be introduced so far. The real number set, denoted by curly r. Real number set basically can be divided into two parts, that is rationals and irrationals. So as a set notation, q union q dash is equal to r. Let's see what are the sets so far we have learned. N natural numbers, z integers, q rationals, r real numbers. If you go through them carefully, you can find all the numbers including n are in z as well. Therefore, n is a subset of z. All the integers are included in rational number set. Therefore, z is a subset of q. All rational numbers are included in R. Therefore, Q is a subset of R. Give a pictorial diagram, simply say a Venn diagram. So it is like this. The smallest set is the natural number set, and then the bigger one is integers, and then Q rational numbers, and the universal set is rational numbers. So now you have obvious question, where is q dash? So q dash is the space where inside the universal set but outside the rational number set q. Now let's consider decimal numbers. Decimal numbers can be basically divided into two parts. The first one is finite decimals, and the second part is infinite decimals. What are the numbers in finite decimals? The word itself means finite, means there is an end. So decimals which has an end are falling into finite decimals. Those finite decimals we can easily convert into fractions. And if you further look into the finite decimals which can be converted into fractions are in the rational number set. Infinite decimals can be further divided into two parts. The first one is recurring decimals. The second part is non-recurring infinite decimals. Recurring decimals, there is a method to convert recurring decimals into fractions. The recurring numbers which can be converted into rational numbers are also in rational numbers. The non-recurring infinite decimals are in irrational numbers because they can be never converted into fractions. Now let's see how a recurring number can be converted into a rational number. For example, let's take 0.333 recurring is given to convert into a fraction. Initially, you take that number as x. Then identify the recurring part. So here just one number, 3 is recurring. So since we have one number, you multiply x by 10. Then you will get a second equation. 10x is equal to 3.333 recurring. Now subtract the first equation from the second one. Then from the left side, 10x minus x is 9x. From the right side, 3.3 recurring minus 0.3 recurring. So recurring part, actually the decimal part will be vanished. So then what do we have? 9x is equal to 3. It's a very easy simple equation. So x will be simplified up to 1 over 3. Let's take another example. 0.1212 recurring. Here two decimal numbers are recurring. So initially I will write x equals 0.121212 recurring. Then here two numbers are recurring. Therefore now I multiply x by 100. So the second equation will be 100x equals 12.1212 recurring. So as usually, subtract first one from the second one. Left side 100x minus x, 99x. Right side 12.12 recurring minus 0.12 recurring. So one recurring part will be vanished. So answer is 12. So then x is equal to 12 over 99. You can simplify to 4 over 33. So in that manner, you can convert any recurring decimal into a fraction very easily. This is the end of our first episode. I hope you understood the lesson well. If you have any questions or suggestions, you are free to comment here or email to me. I highly appreciate your feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Further, you can download many worksheets under this section from our Facebook site. I humbly request you to like the video and subscribe it. Last but not least, stay at home, cooperate with your health officials, wear a mask, wash your hands regularly, and stay home. Stay safe. Goodbye.